have unpopular opinion about the whole thing. And
which whole thing? Like commercialization?
Or unpopular to who?
Unpopular to the consumer.
Who?
On what's medicine or not with cannabis.
Fair.
And this is where I've gotten a lot of hate in the past for it, but unless you're talking isolate, unless you're talking distillate, unless you're talking a completely stripped API level, approved pharmaceutical ingredient level compound, it's very hard to call it medicine. From a place of purity and
science.
From a place of chemical cleanliness.
Okay.
So technically distillate, when it comes out of the machine, it is sterile.
Yep.
If you were to keep a sterile environment, that could technically go in your body without hurting you or causing infection, whatever. It's clean.
Okay.
You cannot say the same of crude extract that comes out. You know what I mean? And granted, I guess clean alcohol extract or clean butane extract has been sterilized through the solvent. But
that's a fun topic.
Yeah, but nobody wants to talk about that either. But coming back to true, now granted, I do also believe everybody using cannabis is medicating in a way or not, and
Fair.
all use is medicinal in some level,
unless you abuse it.
But at the point of what's medicine or not, that comes down to, I hate to say it, but that pharmaceutical level of cleanliness. And so that's where the only products you're going to find in the market that would fit into those categories are going to be isolates and distillates.
It's a true medical value where they start like driving white papers from it, because I think that's like the hard part of our legalization is like, there's so many benefits and compounds and everything in these plants that we truly don't know how it actually works in our bodies or individually in our bodies that gives us the medicinal value. But to get the real medicinal value to that white paper start having, it has to be prescribed. It has to be the exact same batch over batch over batch.
And until we break it down, isolate it, and standardize it, the medical industry will never take us seriously because if not, we're just a hodgepodge mix of plant material.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean?
This person might get a different plant material than this person.
Correct. So, and that's where isolating terpenes, isolating flavonoids, flavorants, really finding out, there's a lot of companies that are pushing towards research to really find out what's in cannabis, what exactly is there. Because obviously you take some fucking, let's say you buy some Granddaddy Perp terps from fucking True Terpenes, and fuck them, not a shout out for them. But let's say you do buy some of that bullshit and you put it into your distillate, it's not going to taste like any fucking Granddaddy Perp. But if you look and compare the terps, these are the commonly found terpenes that are in Granddaddy Perp. So why doesn't it taste the same?
Because it's chemically made. It's not the same.
No, it's terpenes. They're isolated terpenes. Terpenes are an aromatic. They're not flavor. They're not flavonoids. They're not flavorants. And so it's not the full part of what we taste in cannabis. So by just sprinkling the fucking common terps into the mix and calling it Granddaddy Perp is an atrocity. And that's where companies like Abstracts, yes, a shout out for them because they're cool and they're doing God's work by finding out what these compounds are that create flavor and not just aromatics, not just smell. Because there's a certain medicinal value with everything that is in the cannabis plant. And until we can figure out what exactly is there and in what levels, it's going to be really hard to tap into how this can actually fucking help you. How can I prescribe this to you, Joey, to stop your migraines and me be guaranteed that 9 out of 10, patients that have taken this, it's helped their migraines. And until we can standardize and really break everything down in that level of what's inside of it and how do we isolate it and make it an approved pharmaceutical ingredient, we're not going to be able to really break that medicinal stigma that we have right now where your doctor won't prescribe you and your insurance won't cover, the shit at the dispo.
I think that's like It makes sense. It shouldn't be an unpopular opinion. Like, that's just the facts at the end of the day. And I think
But
that's
tell
where,
some fucking heady boy, rosin boy, that he's not medicating because he's dabbing a fucking wax-filled, fat-filled fucking, tasty dab.
yeah. And you can call it medicating for your own ADHD if you want.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people in our industry that are also abusing cannabis at a very high level. Like, they just won't want to take
Same thing.
ownership of it.
Tell an old school hippie that him smoking flower and combusting flower is not the best way for him to consume cannabis.
That's why I bring my...
He's going to try to fucking choke you out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And granted, the dabs and the rosin might be
I got a venti
better
too.
way.
I got a venti for dryer vape all
there
day.
you go.
Like,
So, there's ways. There's ways we have found to make what we're doing healthier. And I think that it's hard. I don't care how heady you are. I don't care how true to the culture you are, how old school you are. It's hard to deny some of those things.
But that's what's crazy. And I think, like, it's their own egos or heads that they want to talk about. Like, again, I think I heard it on a previous podcast that BHO and other solvent extracts that are produced are cleaner than rosin.
Technically.
And that is,
technically. From a chemistry level, yes.
Yeah, and that's just the facts. And, like, people still don't want to, like, agree with it. And it's
Does
just
that
like,
mean rosin sucks and I hate rosin and I don't fucking smoke rosin? No, absolutely not. Smoke tons of rosin. But I also can, I also drink wine and drink alcohol and realize that even though I might be able to get a prescription for it one day if I'm in a nursing home and they want to chill me fucking out, I'm not like doing it medicinally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a certain level like where you have to understand, like, if you're going to claim it's medicine and you're going to claim this or that, you have to kind of like break down where that's coming from.
Yeah. And how it's affecting you analytically, not just I feel good and my back pain's gone. It's like, what happened in your nerves and your system that is changing from this exact consumption method and strain of cannabis for this specific person.
Exactly.
But that's what's like makes it interesting as Best in Grass, right? Like, we want this feedback by a person so they can understand why they are using the cannabis for themselves. And then in turn, in the future with our technology, we want to recommend products that are good to them.
Yeah.
And I have a very hard standpoint on our way of we do things. We will never take money from a brand to recommend a product to an individual because they gave us money. I think that's a wrong path to ever go down. And I think if we can understand people's own consumption habits and what they are liking, gathered from the COA data, again, it's our only benchmark, unfortunately, that either regulations use or anything, but I think a lot of testing is BS in a lot of parts, but like, they are giving us a number or a benchmark to go off of.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can understand more and more when we get feedback from these consumers.
Well, and I think that's why, competitions like yourself, competitions that really focus on gathering data and figuring out what people like. And, going back to what I said too, I think everybody should, take in cannabinoids one way or another, man, woman, and child.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean kids should get high, but I think everybody should take in cannabinoids. We have an endocannabinoid system. And I think cannabinoids are crucial for us, for our life, for our health. Now, however you want to get it, smoke weed, smoke rosin, smoke whatever. I'm fully behind it. But going back to the fact of, we need to find out what people like, what people want, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what's, what we think they should have or what we think they should use. They're going to use what they like. And that's why competitions that really focus on what the people want, I think, are super important.
Yes.
And we're we're not only focusing on what people want, but helping them determine what they want. There's a lot of people who are giving us feedback. Like I bought this vape pen kit. I didn't know what a rosin vape was. I keep getting the same one. My watermelon Skittles tastes good, gets me high. Great. And they're like, I've always looked at this brand and this rosin vape. It's $20 extra for the gram. Why would I do that? Doesn't matter. I'm uneducated. And now they're getting these vape kits with a bunch of different products, some live resin, some distillate, some, diamonds and sauce, some rosin. And now they're experiencing different brands and different products that might work better for them.
Yeah. And man, competition boxes, subscription boxes. I love stuff that kind of gives the user a bunch of different variety. I think that that's huge. There's a bunch of variety on the shelf, and I think the common user walks into the dispo and can't figure out what they want. They go off the bud tender's option, or they go off of whatever. But you got to understand, a lot of these places, the bud tenders are told what to push.
Yes.
You know, they're pushing what they have overstock of, or whatever. You know what I mean? They're on some sort of promotional deal. So letting people truly decide through giving them a big variety, or a large variety, I think is huge, because you get real data on what people actually like, not what just the bud tenders
and
are pushing.
by the individual. So not just a group of people and everyone says that this is good for them, and all of a sudden you're that one anomaly person that doesn't really like that strain, or it doesn't act the same for you. But now we're just getting feedback at the individual level and recommending products at the individual level. Not yet, but that's like in a future thing.
So welcome back to the farm table.
It's good to be back.
Now that we've been talking for a little bit, some stuff has changed since last year, though.
Yeah, a lot's changed.
You guys got different hats on.
different hats on. That's how you know. That's how you know the game has changed.
You're wearing different hats, as in you've gone to business for yourself.
Yeah.
You guys are no longer with the H word.
H word.
It was
That's
hell.
correct. Should we elaborate? Is that the layup?
Yeah, of course. What happened?
Yeah.
Why aren't you guys back, in the same hats?
So we are now in our new hats for Best in Grass.
Okay.
The new company we launched in January 2024. We were here a little over a year ago, talking all things HighTimes magazine. We both started working there like 2017, 2018. Was a dream, working for the most globally recognized cannabis brand ever.
Yeah.
People in all walks of life, when I started working at HighTimes, were like, damn, like, yeah, I know that brand. Like, I had Playboy and HighTimes under my bed. It was amazing. So it was an incredible legacy brand to be a part of. It was the big leagues.
It was a dream.
Yeah, it was a dream.
Yeah.
We got to travel. We got to do competitions. We got to do festivals. We would literally have people stop us being like, oh my God, you work for HighTimes. I want to get a photo with you.
Meet amazing people, being at family barbecues. In the middle of nowhere, Illinois. It was still one of my core memories there, is just being invited to an old retired sheriff's home, and they were having a family barbecue. And that was because of HighTimes, because they kept it at that level of a name. And we saw what was happening on the inside and left and wanted to do better by brands, retailers, consumers, and really shed a new light and bring something fresh to the community.
Well, it seems like there was a small percentage that weren't cool with HighTimes.
Oh, lots.
I didn't realize it because, I was the same way with you as, HighTimes and Playboy synonymous for, the kind of taboo magazines growing up as a kid. And so, I had a huge, oh, cool, HighTimes. But then I talked to a lot of people and they're like, oh no, high crimes, and no, they're not for the people anymore, and they're not owned by this person anymore, and they sold out, and it's just yada yada yada, or as somebody special would say, blada blada blada. And what it was weird because there was a mixed, some people were like, yeah, fucking, you're invited to my firstborn's wedding. And other people were like, no, we're not going to do your competition because you're HighTimes.
Yeah.
And so, how has that been, breaking away from that and kind of?
Oh, it's been amazing. It has been amazing. It's sad because we wanted to do the best we could by the brands, retailers. We wanted to do so many things. And that's kind of why we stepped away. And we'll talk about why we're better now.
Yeah.
But we knew the back end and bad business that was happening. And we, as the competition team, would never stand for that. And we tried doing better. And when we stepped away, we had our newer clients now coming to us with Best in Grass. They were still saying like, hey, I've been waiting 8 months for a trophy. We are not doing any business with you now.
Or 2 years for my magazine subscription.
Yeah. And so we're like, we hear you. We just got to do better by them and show them what we really mean when we come to the market now and how we're giving back.
Well, and that's got to suck too,
to consumers.
When you go and meet somebody and you link up with somebody, and the last interaction they had with you was bad because of the company you were working for or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like you said, they didn't follow through, didn't give them what they said. And so, yeah, that's got to be hard to reestablish that reputation. I'm sure people loved you guys when you came to town, and you know, everybody got along great with you. But then, when business deals and stuff on the other side of it weren't fulfilled, I'm sure that made shit weird, you know, after a while.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, we did our competitions. We busted our ass. We traveled more than anybody I know in 2020. Pandemic hits. Joey and I are on the road 2 weeks out of every month, sleeping in hotel rooms, meeting people, and traveling around.
When you guys were almost tasked with the impossible task of keeping HighTimes competitions cool without the in-person competition.
The hardest thing.
Yeah. I would say that was, because that was the cool thing about the HighTimes competition was the massive gathering where you could like smoke weed in public and like go booth to booth and see everybody's best.
Exactly. So that went away, but we did have literally thousands of people who were like, I'm sitting at home. Cannabis is deemed essential. I want to judge weed. I want these competitions to keep going. And growers were still growing. They still wanted to win awards. And, you know, everybody has...
People still want recognition for what
they
the
still
fuck
want recognition, or
they're
they want awareness or feedback or whatever it is. And we were able to successfully do that. We made a name for Cannabis Cup People's Choice. Did it literally from everywhere from New Mexico to Alaska, California to Massachusetts, everywhere in between. It was
New Mexico as well.
Yeah, that was the first place I said, and it was amazing. But every time we would come back, we'd have feedback after every competition. Hey, guys, this is what we need to do. We need to do better with the judge kit pricing. We need to do better with the judging portal. These brands, they submitted, you know, money as a deposit and their products. I got their products. They're good. Can you guys refund their money now? Or people are hitting me up about they paid for an ad or they paid for a magazine subscription. Like, what's up with that? Joey and I are trying to figure out how to complete this package where they're entering a competition, they're sponsoring a competition, they're getting a magazine ad, but these other
didn't have enough control.
Yeah, we didn't have enough control at all.
Because you guys were the hype guys. You guys were the pitch guys. You guys went in, you did the show, you were the showman, you guys got everybody together, you pulled the thing off. And you had to rely on a large corporation to back you in the other departments.
Yes.
And it's like, you know, maybe we don't fully understand all the ins and outs of the business, but oftentimes we were told, great, the money that just came in from Cannabis Cups is going to be used for something else that is more urgent, you know? So that's why trophies were backed up. That's why, I mean, the magazine is a totally separate department, but magazines stopped printing 2 years ago and they still kept taking people's subscription money, even Joey's subscription money. And he was like, hey guys, haven't gotten this magazine in like, I think it's like 4 months now, 5 months now.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to you soon. And he's like, I'm an employee, like maybe expedite.
They're just doing like a digital print or something, or they're just not putting out anything.
They started doing that, but
nobody agreed to that. That wasn't the subscription.
No, It was, I was supposed to be getting 12 issues at my house delivered and nothing ever happened. They didn't even communicate anything. And then you would send them messages, nothing.
Yeah.
Well, and that's horrible because that's the common janky magazine promotion is they take a bunch of money for advertisement. They take a bunch of money for everything. And they're supposed to put out a printed magazine and either they print just very few or they don't print at all.
I don't think they're printing at all.
And so
we found out that they were not printing at all.
That's horrible.
It's horrible. It's just, it's essentially fraud.
Yeah.
And this is all public information, but a lot of bad business decisions.
Yeah.
Couldn't pay back money. There was SEC fraud lawsuits. There was CEOs leaving left and right. And people telling us like, hey, Kaz, Joe, you guys are doing something really cool. Like, we like you, you're good, but keep an eye out.
So you guys obviously partnered up with some people.
Yeah.
Were they people that you'd worked with before?
No.
Nice.
No.
Well, one of them actually consulted for HighTimes and they got screwed over.
Nice.
They didn't.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah. So last year of our HighTimes career, actually our last event ever was the New Mexico Cannabis Cup here in Albuquerque with all you guys. And then
which turned out really well. I think the event was
the best
cool.
time ever.
Yeah.
That was our first event back in 4 years. That is something we were dying to do.
And it's amazing that
so good.
New Mexico pulled that together.
Yes.
You know, especially as a smaller market.
Yeah, everybody doubted us and they doubted New Mexico. Why would you're going to do an event in New Mexico? You're doing a competition in New Mexico? What? It's like, yeah, there's actually a lot of fucking great cultivators and processors here who bust their ass to try to put out whatever the hell people in New Mexico want.
Well, people don't realize geographically, climate-wise, we have one of the best places to grow, and one of the longest seasons. You know, we have with very little humidity, so you don't have the bud rot, the mold issue that a lot of places get. You know, the poor Pacific Northwest has such a short fucking season because it gets cold and it gets wet, and you know, before it gets cold. So yeah, they're plagued with like mold and stuff. I mean, there's no humidity out here. So yeah, high elevation, you know, very similar, you know, Middle Eastern type, you know, geographical characteristics that, yeah, you know, where a lot of original landrace strains came from were grown in very similar environments.
Award-winning weed here in New Mexico.
So yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me. And I'm glad that you guys have, you know, given New Mexico another shot.
Hell yeah. So our last year at HighTimes, things started to crumble. We were like, we got to get out of here. Like, we didn't know exactly what we were going to do. We're like, should we still work together and like start a company? Should we do competitions? We had other people realizing like hitting us up, being like, hey, we're seeing these articles about HighTimes. Like, are you guys good? Do you need a job? Like, would you run competitions for us? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, of course.
And we were like, you know what? We just need like a pause. And we put our resignations in at HighTimes. They put out a beautiful post about us on like Instagram and LinkedIn and be like, thanks to Kaz and Joey, 5 years, like these states, those states, cannabis cups, all this fun stuff. It was great. And then like 2 weeks later, we're like, yeah, fuck this. We do want to do this. So let's make this band up official. Part of with 2 other guys on the East Coast who are really good with tech and data. Joey and I know how to run these competitions like the back of our hands. And we launched.
So is it your first time working for yourself?
First time working for ourselves. I mean, I've slang, breakfast sandwiches for myself back in the day. Of course.
First at this level, I've done selling and small entrepreneurship and running medical dispensaries out of the house, but nothing of this level of real legal business, not just hustling. Like, this is
how's
big.
It gone so far?
Amazing.
So far, so good. I mean, we did Michigan, Oklahoma, Illinois, Rhode Island, and Arizona.
Wow.
I think what's crazy is we came such a big name and we were doing 8 to 12 already. And then doing it for ourselves was a big turnaround of doing these things. And for a startup, we actually, and let alone a startup in cannabis, 5 competitions, worked with 200 plus retailers, 500 some odd brands, gone through, I think it was 11,000 judge kits. So like those numbers, when you talk about it, when I reflected earlier last month about it, it's just like, whoa, we did some crazy stuff. And then like talking to partners and doing these things, it's just like, this is still such a small year for us. We have so much to grow, and our overall plans like really do get me excited because it's not about the money, but like the goal is to really help the overall industry from brands to retailers to the consumer. And it makes it just so exciting for me to be able to be a part of something that is truly going to help the overall community. I'm stoked.
This thing is fucking wild.
Yeah.
It's a good trophy. We put time and effort and
15
hired
pounds?
a wonderful industrial designer from Ohio for this.
This is decent. This is.
Yeah.
There's something to say about, the weight in your hand, the feel in your hand.
Definitely.
And this thing is a monster.
Yeah. Every time we hand that over to a cultivator or processor.
It's a weapon.
Yes.
Yeah. They grab and they're like, whoa.
You're in Albuquerque, so you know what I mean? We gotta stay on our toes, but this is sick.
Yeah. We're happy with the trophies. And we used to only do a trophy for first place, and then second and third would get medals. Now we have a trophy for each one.
And I'm guessing bronze, silver,
gold.
Yeah, awesome. Exactly. Awesome. The universal.
So they're all the same heaviness, heftiness, shiny, beautiful. Like, love the top design. You can like just roll that around like a little kaleidoscope, and it just shimmers in the light. And you started
breaking down what I didn't realize it was a grinder.
Yeah.
Talk to him, Joey.
So that is our logo. It is on our hats and everything as well. But the top of it is set at a 45-degree angle. So if you're in the cultivation world, 45-degree angle is where you're cutting your clones at, starting the growth of everything. Then at the bottom, it is a rounded bottom. So it's the roots rising from the earth and coming up. So there's way more thought that Connor put into it, and he has a really good story. I should nail it now by now. But
we show a video at every award show.
Yeah, the amount of thought that he put into it and really went into a cultivation to get the ideas, it just made it so much better because it's not just a trophy that you can get off the shop. Like he took time and designed this thing. And
shout out that guy. Shout out that guy.
Connor
Drop
McDonald.
plug him if you can.
Yeah, Connor McDonald, Ohio.
I ran into him at the airport.
Nice.
First time meeting him ever. We've done plenty of video calls, but never met him in person.
Yeah, you're over here, bro.
Oh, well, there's this one I was watching now.
So first year was good. We blasted off like a rocket, and we're just trying to burn jet fuel. We didn't raise any capital from big institutions or anything. Pulled together a little bit of money from friends, working off savings, barely paying ourselves what we deserve, and just bootstrapping everything and wearing so many hats that we are more stressed than we were before. But now we know that it's like, all right, this is for us. And we don't have the handcuffs that we had before.
January was a long year.
January was a long year.
So here, I'll ask you a tough question.
Ooh, love it.
What makes Best in Grass better?
You or me?
I can go through it just because,
Take it away.
Then HighTimes, then the biggest,
Right.
high crime.
biggest magazine in fucking cannabis.
And before you answer, when we took this leap, we knew it. We were like, is this going to work without this name? And we took into the fact that hey, the general population does really look at HighTimes with adoration. But if anybody's worked with HighTimes or they've done some type of deal with HighTimes, oftentimes they're not stoked on the outcome of it. And it's because of under promising and under delivering, shitty salespeople, bad deals with fine print that wasn't good for anybody.
Idols can be disappointing.
Oh,
you know what I
yes,
mean? When
very
you
much
when
so.
you look up to something, somebody, some whatever, and you actually get to meet them, a lot of the times, or you actually get to deal with it, a lot of the times it's disappointing.
Yeah.
So
And they were lucky that they had faces of the company to represent them. And I'm not just talking about me and Kads. John Capetta out of HighTimes is one of the best guys to know and had saved HighTimes for a lot of things, and just an overall great dude. Love him to death. But what makes us better is we truly give back.
Yeah.
One, the biggest thing we have an award show gathering, elegant lifestyle that comes up. It's not me as a stoner bro in my little shirts and pendants and everything. Everyone's really dressed up in cocktail attire, really showing up, showing out. That's one thing that is a giant thing. Second is how we just run business. When you win a trophy, you're accepting it then. We're not doing some silly online award show that we were doing for the past 4 years. Now, previous to COVID, those events were amazing. That is what HighTimes was.
Yeah.
But we do that better.
Which was so much of the community.
Yes.
Which was the community
Bringing people
in those areas being allowed to gather.
Yes.
I think there's a certain thing that people don't realize is we're prohibited as a community from gathering and doing what we want to do, and that's smoke.
Need more lounges.
And so,
New Mexico's trailblazing on that one.
we're getting we're getting more and more lounges.
Oh, okay.
I mean, none big enough yet to host a big party or a big show.
And when you say big, you mean Best in Grass.
I noticed that it's BIG. So I thought that was pretty cool too. I'm all about the acronyms, the initials, and what it the meaning behind things. So no, huge. So yeah, just to catch everybody up, you guys jumped into town and you guys are here to pick up submissions.
Yes.
So it's happening. We're not just talking about it and you guys might come to New Mexico. It's happening. People are signed up. It's going down. Best in Grass, New Mexico. The competition is when?
Started actually last week for intake.
Okay.
Our partner is P37, Prohibition 37, working with the whole gang here in Albuquerque. We're landing here today, boots on the ground, and we have more team members coming. It's not just us. We have team members that support us all the way through this. We are loading all the product in this week, and then we go right into building judge kits. Okay. We're going to be building 2,700 judge kits for New Mexico.
Yep.
Because we're normally doing 2,600, but New Mexico, we have the micro flower category.
I heard there's a unique category. Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah. This is the first time ever for us.
Yeah.
Finally, we've been thinking about this for years.
Always thought about it, and then finally Ben, Jet really like said like, you guys got to do this. Like everyone was coming to us like, hey, there's a lot of small craft growers. We have a big cannabis scene. Like the micro growers deserve their spotlight as well. So lower requirements for them. They have a lot smaller harvest. They grow at a smaller scale, which is where we want cannabis at. We don't need to have this giant scale. So 100 single gram units is what they're submitting to us instead of like the commercial scale where they are giving us 300 individual 1 gram units.
Cool.
So very cool.
Easier barrier for entry, a smaller barrier for entry. That's cool because I think that's where, HighTimes or whatever would be like, oh no, they don't have money to give us. They don't have enough money to give us.
Yeah,
we're not worried about them. They're not the ones that are. But in a place like New Mexico and a place where micro businesses are supported and micro businesses are a huge part of what we do. Yeah, that's huge. No, you got to involve those guys. I hated to hear that. Oh man, I'm not entering because they need too much product. Yeah. Blah blah blah.
And we know that we're asking for a lot of product.
Yeah.
But we don't charge anybody, no fees like they're like it used to be at HighTimes or other competitions. We just want good product and we want to have enough product to where there's a large judging population. Because if we take 20 grams, great, 20 people are the determining factor of who the best in the entire New Mexico is.
And if you want
5 friends
data,
judge, that's 25%.
If you want data, you need hundreds of thousands of people.
Points,
of people.
And you want to be actionable data.
Yes, you want real data. You want to be able to see what's selling where, what's selling how much, and by doing that with 20 heady guys that only smoke the best 5-star hash in the land.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Is unrealistic to the whole consumer base. Because there's a 65-year-old lady that uses cannabis all the way down to the 21-year-old college student to the 40-year-old, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hard labor guy. So there's such a huge, vast difference in the demographics of people who actually use cannabis. And those are the people, like we have talked about before, that need the accessibility of the dispensary.
Yes.
Not everybody has a plug. Not everybody knows a guy. Not everybody fucking is connected.
Yep.
So I think the dispensaries play such a huge role in offering accessibility to anybody who wants to enjoy cannabis, use cannabis, medicate on cannabis, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Recreational, just get fucking high.
Yeah.
It's accessibility for man, woman, and young person.
Yeah.
And all the way to anybody. You don't have to have a plug. You just got to know the store that has the right shit.
Yeah. And that's what we're also helping the overall New Mexico market. Once we get the winners, we let the dispensaries know who's winning, who the consumers actually voted on to do it. It's not me voting that I truly know cannabis and know these things. Like, no, this is consumer feedback. And again, like other things that we do better than HighTimes, like we still have a list of things we can go through.
Of course.
Bud tender incentives, giving bud tenders an incentive to actually join and get a judge kit, the top selling bud tender for the first 3 weeks. They get a chance to get a judge kit themselves so they can take it home and judge and be a part of the full process.
Nice.
So it's not just them getting free product, but like we want them to fully submit the feedback. And we love the brutally negative. And of course, when it's negative and it's true, like don't just talk shit like, oh, it sucks.
Constructively negative.
Yeah.
I guess is a better way to put it.
Yeah, there you go.
Because you could be brutal and not have a fucking point and just be an idiot.
Yeah.
Don't do that. But if you got something constructive to say, it's good to hear that, especially if you give a fuck about your brand.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we also give judges an incentive when they fully 100% complete the judging. We give them an incentive, 10% of the value of their kit. They get that in a judge store credit. So
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. There was rumor that went around that not everybody judged their kits from the previous competition. And that's got to be a problem you guys face, is getting people to come back and fucking judge.
Yes.
If you buy a case, go fucking judge.
Yes.
Don't be that guy that doesn't fucking come back. Go judge. Do the small requirements. And Best in Grass has went and made an incentive for them.
Yes, to actually get money back. So after the award show, we load your guys' either dispensary accounts, or we send you guys emails saying to go get your judge credit, and you can also go buy the award-winning product, because at that point you would know exactly who won. So it doesn't matter if you judge your product in 2 weeks or whatever. The judge credit is issued after the award show, which then gives them the chance to buy the award-winning product. That's our goal.
I like that.
You get to buy winners.
And then get free tickets to the show.
Yep.
So you judged. Great. Thanks for fully judging. Here's your free tickets. We'll see you at the show. Now you're being able to interact as a brand who's like, I'm here hoping to hear if I win. You're interacting with all these judges who are actually spending money, more money than the average consumer on a monthly basis at dispensaries to keep brands like yours and his and hers and theirs afloat. Because those are the people who should be judged. People who spend money to keep our industry an industry.
Well, and as markets mature, and I'm sure you guys see this because you've been all over the country, as markets mature, they saturate.
Yes.
There becomes a lot of brands, and I think it gets really confusing for the random consumer to figure out who's who can I trust, what's what.
Yeah.
And so I think, once again, competitions like this really line it up and headline who they should, at least check out.
Yeah.
Obviously, fucking try whatever you want, but it's nice to be able to know who somebody thinks is the fucking best.
Yeah, and the fun thing that we do on stage as well. So when the first place product wins, is we choose 1 to 2 judge comments for the product, and we read that comment out to the whole arena that we have filled. And there's been times where judges will shout out "Oh, that's me!"
Yeah, it's so fun.
It was so
and
fun.
They're like, "Oh, that was my comment."
Yeah,
so
it's just cool things.
First place, solventless concentrates goes to ba ba, and then here's the judge. Justin said, "Oh, smooth, buttery texture." We'll read off their comment, and we love that. We want judges to be incentivized to judge every single item by the deadline and with a colorful, robust comment section.
Yeah.
Give us the whole story. You open the jar, you smelled lemony diesel aromas, bright green fluffy buds. Did you smoke a joint and take a hike with your dog, or did you fall asleep on the couch eating a box of pizza with your girlfriend? We want to know all of that so we can give that to the brand. So you guys, everybody who enters will get a report of what the demographics and reviews on aesthetics, aroma, taste, effects, etc. comments for each of your products that you submit. And every vendor, every cultivator, processor, and dispensary partner gets free tickets to the award show. So we're going to gather all the heavy hitters, all the key decision makers, and just the cool people that you want to see that maybe you've heard of, seen, but never met.
I'm so curious. Do you guys disclose that data publicly?
For now, the feedback only goes to the brands. We're working on some agreements that will hopefully allow us to share it with the retailers, because the retailers are very much demanding that. Hey, can I see what all of Pharmer's products rated, etc.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious to get your thoughts on that. If you would like us to share with the dispensaries.
Obviously think it's cool that you share it with the brands, but
yeah,
no, I think Jesh has a good point. And yeah, who knows? Maybe the consumers do want to see, the results. And I think that is a cool way to kind of show credibility in competitions, is to share results.
Yeah. We of course publicize third, second, first place.
Yeah,
everybody
of course,
knows the winners.
Of course.
So I guess, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What I was more asking is how people reacted to indicas and sativas, or how people reacted.
Oh,
to
he's
rosins
talking about
versus
the
BHO.
other data.
like cannabis
The
data,
deep
like
data.
general cannabis data about consumer
Analyzing this data.
preferences.
We are trying. That's our
That's
tech
next
part
step.
of our tech roadmap is getting that data and then publicizing it per the market, because I think it could be very interesting of what people are feeling. Like there's some indicas or hybrids that are all of a sudden acting like sativas, or sativas acting like a hybrid because we don't take it to full term, or it makes them too anxiety driven.
Right.
So yeah, that stuff is going to be hopefully eventually publicized, but we will never publish full rankings because again, the cannabis industry has really fragile egos, and when they're ranked low,
it's a fragile market.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, and I'll have to say, you know, talking about Jet, that's one thing that the Hash and Headies is pretty brutal with, is they post they just fucking, they publicize, you know, 14th, 15th, 18th, 27th place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That if you want to be competing, you need to be better. You need to see what you're striving for.
Yeah, I would like to publicize it.
You know, and so I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
But like you said, man,
it's business too.
There's a lot of fragile egos, and plus, sometimes it's hard to hear. Yeah, your shit didn't do well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And they're a well-represented brand in the local market, and all of a sudden they didn't do well.
Yep.
But like that's what I'm real excited about this micro license category.
Yeah.
Is the consumers buying this micro license category, and I truly hope they stand out way better than most of the general flower, because there's generally great growers out here in New Mexico that are growing at scale.
Yeah.
But I think micro is where the real craft is coming from to the license market. So I really hope it's highlighted to a consumer and what that means to them, because it is a higher price flower when you're buying micro licensed flower, but you're also producing a team that may be only 5 people.
Did you guys get Carver to answer?
Carver Farms?
Yeah. But he couldn't do it.
He didn't enter?
No.
I'll have to give him some shit about it.
Give him some shit.
Because
he's giving you some shit about it right now.
Jesh is fucking smoking his shit right now.
Let's go, Carver family. Come on.
I'm really disappointed.
The people, you know, and that's the thing. It's like sometimes we announce some winners and we may not agree with them, you know, but hey, sometimes.
That guy is one of the coolest fucking guys. Yeah. If you haven't watched the 12 Dabs of Christmas, we just did a show with him, and we wanted to get him on for years. Yeah. So we're going to be fast editing this episode. It's Sunday. So we're good. Jesh is going to be jamming it out. So it's good. It's going to launch right in the middle of the week. When you guys are like closing off your submissions.
Yeah.
So if you watch this episode and you got something to add, hit these guys up, get a hold of them.
Or if you're a fan of a producer or a brand or a dispensary or whatever it may be, go in there, urge them to get involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holler at us, Best in Grass Southwest on Instagram or bestingrass.io website. But yeah, the whole process happening now. So if this is launching Wednesday, this is like last day to essentially submit product. We then build, as Joey mentioned, 2,700 judge kits. We have indica flower, sativa flower, hybrid flower, the new micro license flower category, which I cannot wait for. Then we have rosin vapes, non-rosin vapes, 2 separate categories.
Nice.
Solvent concentrates, which we're going to talk about relabeling.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe some live resin, waxes, sugar batter, etc.
Interesting. Okay.
And then the non-solvent / solventless concentrate category, which is going to be popping. I think we have like 15 entries for that.
Nice.
It's looking really good.
Nice.
And then edible gummies, edible non-gummies, chocolate bars, honey sticks, lollipops, crispy treats, yada, yada, yada. And then beverages. And syrups.
Got a question. What's the coolest product, the most unique product you guys have seen with Best in Grass? I remember with the other one, it was the pickles, right?
Yeah, we have pickles.
Yeah, pickles from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, what have you got? What's tops the pickles?
The half and half has been cool. We have like a half a dish of
creamer.
No. Half a dish of diamonds, half a dish of like rosin.
Okay,
which is always fun. You know, you can kind of play around with that.
I think it's lacking current innovation right now. I think most of the stuff that we're seeing is generally in most markets. You're seeing rosins. Actually, I would call it Moroccan hash. We got some recently.
Saw some real old school hash.
Yeah, and that was cool, but it didn't do well, right? Because the consumer's not educated, but like
nobody knew how to fucking smoke it.
Yeah, but it was like cool for me because I was like, dang, like producing that at scale is hard. And they were doing it, looked good, tasted good. It was awesome.
I'll smoke some old school hash. It gets you. It's a different high.
There's some Piatella going around locally too.
Oh, the Piatella is good.
Dang, what's the gram on that price?
I have no idea.
What's the gram on that price?
I think
why
it's about
tongue twisting?
$80-$90.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, at retail. But cool, guys.
Yeah, so product comes in. What else do we do? Then we distribute it to like 27 stores.
Yeah.
Prohibition 37 stores. Luna Leaf.
Yeah,
Santa Fe,
shout out the
420,
names.
Cure for Life.
Weed, 420 Tea Time.
Yeah, Earl and Tom's.
Our Green Leaf.
All this going to be available on the
Mango
website?
Cannabis. All on the website, bestandgrass.io. Find New Mexico. We got like 3 states. Please.
Amazing.
Check the description for all the info.
And so when is the actual competition? So
February 22nd, Saturday, February 22nd. Everybody be set their alarms, wake up, bake up, put on your makeup, and get to the dispensary right when they open. And you get limited edition, limited quantity judge kits. It's a Best in Grass zippered tote bag for all your future grocery or weed goodie needs. Carrying.
So if you guys want to pick up a judging box, February 22nd.
Saturday, February 22nd in the morning. Get there.
Nice.
Get your kit.
All
13
dispensaries.
categories to choose from. We're dropping the pricing in a few days from this podcast. It'll all be determined on what people submit. And then we look at that market value. Like, what is this worth? What would people typically spend for this? Cool. Let's drop it 20 to 50% off from there.
Yeah.
And it's a nice discounted fat bag of weed. Or, again, some kits are going to be huge. Some kits are going to be smaller. Depends on the category and how many people submit. And then, 6 to 8 weeks of judging, depending on when you get your kit. Usually these things sell out within a few days at some dispensaries, a few weeks at others. Just depends.
Yeah.
Different states also range.
They sell out fast.
They usually sell, like flour and concentrates usually goes quick.
So find your dispo that has it, get out and get it, and make sure you fucking judge.
Yeah,
if
judge
you buy
card.
a box.
Judge card inside of every single judge kit.
Do your
Individualized
duty.
as well. So that's how we protect
Yeah.
the actual competition is we have individual judge cards. So you can't share your code. You only get one code. It can't be reused.
Nice.
Yeah, we lock it down. So we want more feedback and we want to make sure that you get the feedback to the brands. If you think it's good or you think it's bad, find your new product.
Yeah.
Boom.
Should we be like the Democrats and tell people we're going to check the list and see if you fucking voted?
That's
We
right.
We do that.
We do.
And I email them and I say, hey, it looks like you've judged less than 40%. What the?
I'll give them a phone call. If I got a phone
but
number for
they
you,
get
let's
plenty of
call
time. 2 months to judge. There's a judge card inside of every bag. Instructions on it. Sign in for your account. Judge the product. And then you'll get invited to the award show. And we're going to do it in Albuquerque in May. I'll lock in the venue, all the details. We'll announce all that.
So participating judges
Yep.
are the only ones who have admission other than the brands.
Or they have to buy their ticket.
Or it's a ticketed event. Let's talk a little bit about the live event.
Yeah.
So cocktail attire, red carpet award show. You're
you're
to
in
a
New
gala.
Mexico.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Bolo tie.
Yeah, well, look, we did this in all these states. Everybody
means-
says, "Oh, I don't like dressing up.
It
Oh, I don't
means
have
get
a suit."
fucking suit.
Yeah.
Don't be a schmuck.
Or just a blazer. Wear a blazer, wear
Yeah.
jeans, wear boots, whatever you want to
Figure it
wear.
out.
But don't wear sweatpants and hoodies, to this.
Yeah.
Look
Okay.
sharp. Look at our Facebook and website, and you'll see photos of all the beautiful people feeling good.
Okay.
But people will complain about that and be like, I'm not going to dress up. And then they dress up and they love it.
Yeah.
They definitely come up a lot and love the overall vibe.
So you're walking in at 6 p.m. It's red carpet. We got photographers flashing, videographers filming. Who are you? Who are you wearing? What brand are you with? What's the deal? And people are just warmly welcomed. And then there's going to be cocktails flowing. Hopefully the venue that we choose has some type of consumption friendly area. Yep. Some venues like fucking smoke a blunt in the venue, like Rhode Island, shout out the Strand. Yeah. But in places like Michigan, they were like, ugh, they can kind of smoke outside, but like we might monitor that. So it all depends. But the goal of this isn't to just go smoke in a venue. This is to honor the growers and processors that bust their ass and go through all the regulations to put out good product.
It's a classy event.
It's a classy event.
Give some
so get high
away.
before for sure. See if we might be able to pull off smoking there. Have a drink or two if you drink. Celebrate your friends, your family, and meet a ton of people that I'm sure you probably love and know and love or know and hate. Get some photos, hang out, get a trophy. This is one of these heavy things. You wrap it in a stroller and bring it home, and then we have fun.
Where can people get a hold of you guys on like social media and stuff?
It's a Joey for everything for me, and at Best in Grass Southwest. For our Instagram now, as we know, they just keep getting shut down left and right.
Our main account just got shut down.
And our website, follow us on our website is a big thing. We have a mailing list, bestingrass.io.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to be the first people to get the updates on pricing because we can't announce pricing on a lot of different channels.
Yep.
So we can email the pricing, put it on our website. So that's where you'll see the pricing of the judge kits and the categories and what you get within them.
Websites used to be the shit. Do you think people are going to go back to websites because of like all the fucking like censorship and everything. Like,
who knows? Censorship's going away more and more now in this administration. So we'll see what actually happens.
Get a Twitter, get an X page.
It's a tool. It's a tool, you know, like you can't
tool.
comment on a website, but yeah, you can see a more robust visuals, you know, on a website. But yeah, hopefully people go to our website and check it out.
And don't forget to follow Kaz at Mayor Mark.
Yeah, Mayor _ Mark, MARK. Holler at me. Yeah. I'm friendly. Slide in the DM. Say what up. Let me know what you're thinking. And I'm gonna be here skateboarding. You know, we'll find a spot to skate, get some clips.
There's some good spots around town.
Well, you guys did an awesome competition the last time you were here, so I'm sure this will be even fucking better because you guys are doing it, you know, with more passion and for yourselves and you know, like you said, reconnecting and making it about the community, about the real consumer data and about the brands all the way down to the micros that are trying so hard to put out good shit.
Yeah, slide into my DMs and tell me all the negative feedback you have about Best in Grass too. I love hearing it because it shows that we can do something better. Let's go.
Yeah, hopefully you get a couple of these so you can do some
real curls.
Do some curls with them because these things are beasts.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But thank you for having us. Yeah. Thank you for having us. We love seeing you guys. Love this podcast and love being in New Mexico for a bit.
Let's go.
Woo. Right on. Thanks, guys.